Okay, I think we're good to go.
Awesome. So I want to thank Jennifer so much for coming on today. We here at the Sopchak Natural Health and Wellness Center are always trying to find different ways to try and help people to get better. And it's not always something that we can do. Oftentimes we find people outside in order to help us out. And so I want to thank Jennifer for coming on today to talk about how to overcome overwhelm. So first thing I'm going to do is just give you a little background on Jennifer. Jennifer Nieset graduated from Bowling Green in 1997 with her bachelor's degree in biology. She attended Cleveland State also, where she graduated in 1999 at the top of her physical therapy class. From then, she began practicing as a physical therapist for 18 years in a variety of settings, but primarily as an outpatient, orthopedic physical therapist. She currently practices at Hands-On Physical Therapy in Mentor, and she holds a certificate of post-baccalaureate specialization in mechanical diagnosis and treatment of the spine, also known as McKenzie method. 2 years ago, she recognized the need to serve her patients and her family outside of healthcare, and she found a new passion in health and wellness world, and has been helping people live healthier lives as an independent Team Beachbody Coach ever since. She, along with her husband Craig Nieset, have founded Team Nieset, whose vision is to help people live a happier, healthier, purpose-driven life. They have 4 kids, 2 of which I get to see run regularly, in Ohio. And they're both themselves lifelong runners. They competed in high school, college, post-college, and now they're in their master's level. Jen tonight is going to be sharing her best advice on systems, habits, and shifts in mindset that have helped her overcome her own excuses and struggles. Her hope is to help make healthy living simple and give you some tips that you can put in place today. So with that, I'm going to let Jen take over, and everybody sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Sopchak, for that introduction. And I just want to thank you guys so much for taking some time out of your busy schedule. We're very excited to share this with you in this format, overcoming a little technology difficulties. We attempted to do this last week and realized, you know what, we're talking about overwhelm, and making time to come to a class about something is difficult. And this is a bedtime maybe for your family, or your quiet time in the evening, and you don't want to go back out. And so we thought this would be a great way to share this important message with all of you in the comforts of your own home. So what I am going to do is I'm actually going to share my screen with all of you now, and it's going to give you a chance to see my talk in a PowerPoint fashion. So bear with me for just a moment. And what you should see now is my slides. Very good. So you have my introduction already. Some of you know me better than others. My plan for this evening, I think I'm going to take about 30 minutes of my prepared talk. Again, feel free to sign off if you need to. This will be a recording, but I will open up for comments at the end. And don't forget to kind of write down those questions or use the chat function to remember those questions for the end of the talk. I have part of my story that I will share as the talk goes on, but I really want to keep this real. I want to be honest with all of you, because healthy living, when you know you need to make changes, when you're not happy where you're at, it can be overwhelming. And even from a professional person, my standpoint, I knew what I should do, right? We know what to do. It's not a matter of lack of knowledge or how to, it's just figuring out how to overcome those excuses, overcoming the overwhelm and making it simple. So that's my hope for all of you tonight, is to share this message with you. I have about 5 areas, major areas that I have struggled with myself, and I'm going to share my tips for how I'm still a work in progress. And if you'll be a little bit forgiving of yourself and realize that you don't have to be perfect, that it's a process and a journey, that hopefully my goal for this talk is that you can take some tips and start tomorrow on your journey to a happier, healthier, purpose-driven life. You heard already, that my husband is my #1 fan. He is the other half of Team Nieset, and I'm just blessed to be on this journey with him. And about 2 years ago now, we together founded Team Nieset as a way to live that purpose-driven life, as a way to improve ourselves, be better versions of ourselves, and to help our friends and family overcome excuses. That's a lot of what we're going to be talking about tonight. Here is what I have learned. Your mindset is the most important thing that you need to focus on when you are talking about making lifestyle changes. I'm going to be sharing on these 5 main topics. Like I said, these are the ones I have found areas of struggle or challenge or overwhelming to tackle for various reasons of my life. And it wasn't until I figured out how to focus on my mindset that I was able to make the shift. So we're going to talk about exercise and nutrition and priorities, taking control of your life, systems and habits and how they help make you feel calm, which is so important to me, calm, and failing forward, really overcoming your fear of failing can be paralyzing for so many people. Now, to lighten it up a little bit, I got to be serious though. Excusitis is for real plaguing our country. It's a disease. Have you heard of it? Excusitis. I had it for years. I cannot possibly do anything today because my sister's friends, mother's, grandpa's, brother's, grandsons, uncle's fish died. And it was tragic. I mean, for real. You guys, there's never going to be the right time or a good time to make lifestyle changes. Never. The lights will never all be green when you leave your house on the way to work. There will always be an excuse until you decide that you're ready. That's all it comes down to. We'll talk more about this as we go, but I had this myself, and sometimes I still do. But there is a cure, and the cure for excusitis, you guys, is your why power. I talk about this a lot as a health and fitness coach. Your why power, it fuels your willpower. Willpower will only get you so far, and some people say they have better willpower than other willpower, but I would challenge you to really, if you'll allow yourself time to think about you really need to dive deep and figure out why you need to make these changes, because until you know why with every fiber of your being, you will always have excusitis. Your why power is going to fuel your willpower. I like to say your why power is a burning desire backed by faith that you deserve everything that you desire. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be healthy. You deserve to be strong and confident and patient and financially free and all of those things that make up health. You deserve them, and you have to figure out why. Here's why. Whoops. This is our why. I'm going to share a lot about these guys as we go through this evening, but I have a why power times 4. Each one of these lives is a strong reason why we decided we needed to do more and to do better for not just us, but for them. Each one of them, I think you'll hear a little bit about each of them maybe in my story, but they all play a role in why we are committed to this healthy lifestyle and keeping it simple, because we owe it to them, their future and ours. So that's a little example of why. Your why needs to be strong. You see, like emotional. Your why needs to be powerful, or else you'll fall back into the old habits, because it's simple, right? We know what we need to do. It's simple, but it's hard. It's hard to do the simple things because it's easier not to sometimes. So you need a strong why. Now we're going to get into the very first part of keeping it simple and overcoming the overwhelm with the topic of exercise. I will be taking drink breaks, and I do have some cue cards. Okay. Not that long ago, actually about through the month of April, I did a 5-part series, and you can find most of that on Facebook. You can also find it on my YouTube channel. It was a 5-part series about overcoming the struggles of my life from my 30s to my 40s. And a lot of the stories that you hear here, you can also, they kind of correlate with that series. And so each part of these 5 areas, I had a struggle in myself. And I'm going to share that with you to be honest and hopefully relatable, that that you can take something from. And I'm going to share some tips that go along with each one also that you can start to implement. So my story about exercise is, well, for about 10 years, I lived in the excuse of I don't have time to take care of myself. I don't have time to exercise. I don't have time to eat right. It was my excuse for everything. In 7 years, we had 4 kids. So we were busy. And I didn't get enough sleep, and I was still working, and I had diapers and naps, and I had an excuse for why I didn't have time to take care of myself. And I knew what to do, and I was a runner, always had been, but I did it inconsistently, and I wasn't feeling good, and I didn't have energy. I was tired, and I was crabby. One day, one particular evening, we usually have a moment in our life, right? There's like a wake-up call when we realize it's time. This isn't a serious one. Sometimes the wake-up call is serious for people, but this was on a particular evening in bedtime routine, and we're brushing teeth, and my 4-year-old son then giving me a hug right around my waist, and he asked me if we were having another baby, which we were not. And so that was a moment for me when I realized, you know what, I don't feel good about myself. My system isn't working. And that's a message that I'm going to relay throughout the talk. If your system isn't working, you got to find a new one. So my inconsistent, lack of planning, irregular routine, it just wasn't working. I had to find a new system. And I'm happy to say I have that. I now have a schedule, and I'm stronger in my 40s than I was in my 30s. In fact, our daughter today, kind of preparing for this, pointed that out to me. She's like, Mom, I don't even remember before you guys, did this coaching. She's like, but you sure, I forget how she said it, something like, you sure are stronger, or something like that. It was cute. But you got to take care of the body that you have. It's the only one you have. You have to take care of it. Here on the screen in front of you, you can see all the reasons why you need to exercise. Helps control your weight, helps prevent heart disease, diabetes, cancer, depression, stroke, improves your mood and boosts energy. And what I mean about number 5 is, you know what I'm talking about, and there might be children listening. It helps you sleep, it increases your stamina, it makes you more patient, and reduces your stress. If I said I had a pill that would do all those things for you, you would be first in line. I'm telling you, you need to exercise. You have to do some kind of exercise. Oh, don't want that one just yet. Here's the thing. These are my takeaway messages for exercise. You must do it. It is a component of your overall health. It just makes you a better, more patient husband or wife, man or woman. It makes you feel better, and it gives you more energy. It should be something you enjoy. If you don't like a particular type of exercise, find another one. Like if exercise doesn't come naturally to you, don't make yourself do something you hate. Find something that you would love. There is no wrong exercise. Just find something you would enjoy and do it. You must schedule it. It must be scheduled, like you would schedule an appointment with your boss. Because if you don't, especially if you have children, something else will come along and take up that time. If you leave it for chance, it will not happen. So for me, It needs to happen first thing in the morning. If it doesn't, my children will know and often encourage me to get out of the house and run. Schedule it. And the other thing that you can do is find yourself an accountability partner. Anytime you're setting a goal for anything in your life, if you find a buddy to do it with, it's way, way easier, and you're more likely to be successful. So find a running partner, find somebody to meet you at the gym, find a coach who will hold you accountable, find somebody to do it with, because you're more likely not to miss that meeting when somebody else is going to ask you if you were there or if they were meeting you there. The other thing I want to mention is that there is evidence to suggest that even 10 minutes of stretching to start your day in the morning with maybe a yoga practice, it will give you more energy for your day. This doesn't have to be complicated. You don't have to do your whole 30-minute, 40-minute, 60-minute workout in the morning. Even if you just can start with a baby step of 10 minutes of yoga, you're going to feel more energy for the day. So that's my story about exercise. Okay, now on to the next one. I think somebody might be on that's not muted. I don't know if, Bill, you can see. I have it in a different view right now.
Yeah, I'm not, I didn't have me muted, and you also don't have Paula's iPhone or Kathy Adamick.
Okay, cool. Let me do those. Cool, that's better. Okay. Ooh, I went too far in my chat. Where was I?
Right there.
Is this the one we were on? Okay. Okay, cool. Let me move you guys. So we're going to talk about nutrition. For me, this is, I think, becoming one of the biggest reasons why we became coaches personally. But it's a humongous source of overwhelm for people. I think I didn't know where to start, and I still have a lot to learn. Here's what I'll tell you, my story first. I have been a PT for about 18 years. That's hard to say out loud. But for the last probably 5 or 7, I would say, I just started getting frustrated that the tools that I had in my toolbox, you know, muscles, bones, strength and stretch, use my hands, I wasn't fully able to help people. They still were suffering from migraines or difficulty sleeping or pain and inflammation and depression. And what the heck? Something else is going on. It's just this voice in my head. And then personally, I was approaching the age of 40, and you just start to become, I think, more aware of how your body is responding to the food that you eat, and this layer on over your abdominals, and where did that come from? And some things started happening in our life, right? So our oldest daughter, when she was 9, was diagnosed with an autoimmune thyroid disease. Well, that was hard. She was a C-section baby, which has implications we now know. She was apparently sensitive to lactose, and so we recommended by the doctors to put her on a soy-based formula and then soy milk for the first 2 years of her life. What I now believe is that soy is a very genetically modified crop. I think when you have something like that in your system, the soy also affects your thyroid gland. Now, she has the genetic predisposition also. However, I have this voice in my head that started to say, so possibly nutrition plays a role in our health. And what can we do with this to make ourselves healthier? And then I knew as I got close to 40 that my dad, when he was 40, was diagnosed with diabetes, type 2 diabetes, now type 1 diabetic. I'm a mom who got melanoma in her 50s. We have other types of cancer. We have heart disease. We lost a cousin at the age of 32 to a massive heart attack. cancer, diabetes, disease, depression, like what is going on and what can we do? And so that really just started me on a passionate course to learning, and I still have a long way to go, and honestly looking forward to learning from Dr. Sopchak. But this is what I've learned so far. Nutrition is 80% of weight loss. 80% of weight loss is nutrition. Honestly, 80% of being healthy comes down to your nutrition. It might be higher than that. People who are nutrient deficient, this came from a medical journal, are 80% more likely to suffer from disease like osteoporosis, depression, dementia, diabetes. There's more. What? We are nutrient deficient. And if you don't know that, in our country, our soil is depleted. Our crops are modified. We are not fueling our bodies for health. Our bodies are under attack 24/7 from our foods, from chemicals that we spray on our foods, from toxins, poor air quality, cell phones, radiation, endless. Our body is in a constant state of stress. Well, cortisol is the stress hormone, wreaks havoc on your system, on your hormones, on how you process foods. We need to let our food be our medicine and consider what we're feeding our bodies. I'm getting a little passionate about that. If you want to feel better, you have to fuel yourself for health. I don't even like the word diet. I don't diet. We don't diet. I never have. People do them all the time and they fail. And they fail because you need a lifestyle, right? You need to learn how to fuel your body for health. Diets will work. A lifestyle of good nutrition will work when you begin to understand how to fuel your body, when you avoid artificial sugars and things like genetically modified crops and nitrates and processed foods and antibiotic injected meats. When you realize there's no quick fix or magic bullet or diet pill or shortcut to your health, then you will be on the path to feeling better and to being healthy. What does that mean? You'll have more energy. You won't have headaches. Maybe you'll sleep better. You'll have less joint pain. There is a direct correlation between the health of your gut and the rest of your body. And that I do believe. And I have more to learn, but I am excited to learn, to know what we can do about that. Here's what I want to review with you. Some of you guys may have heard this. It's called the diet cycle. This is why diets don't work, right? Because I told you, we live in a nutrient deficient country, right? So if you need to consider that it's not a simple numbers game anymore. We have been misled. All calories are not created equal. So you have, let's just say 100 calories of French fries and 100 calories of carrots. Those are not the same nutrient density, good for you quality care, going into your body. So you cut 100 calories of either of those food, you get a different response. You need to consider that nutritional content and value of the food that you're eating. Okay, weight loss is not a byproduct. Weight loss is a byproduct of good nutrition, not lessening your calories. Here's what happens. Maybe this has happened to you. You start a diet and you decide you're going to cut your calories. You're also going to exercise because that's good. You got to do that too, right? So, and you're motivated. So the first week or 7 days, you feel great. You're not eating as much and you're exercising. So you're burning more of those calories that you're not getting. That second week or so, you're more and more nutrient deficient. If you had the best diet before, you now are more and more nutrient deficient. Well, your body's going to feel that and it's going to think you're starving. So it's going to store everything that you do eat and you're less likely to burn the calories that you're sabotaging yourself. So then you get into the third week, days 15 to 21, and you're getting a little grumpy and you're stressed. Your cortisol level's probably high. You're tempted. And when you're in that state of kind of like fight or flight, you're starving, right? You're going to crave more. Your body's going to crave more salt and sugar when you're not getting the nutrients that you need. So then you're going to go out to dinner with your friends and you're going to order the fries and wings that they aren't having because you can't resist it anymore. And that last week, you're going to just feel guilty and you're going to give up, call yourself a failure, and go back to the ways you were living. That is how you'll live until you start to think of food as fuel, and focus on not cutting calories, but actually, what does my body need for health? That is not simple. That takes a lot of studying and help, but it is possible to figure out. Okay. So you know you need to make changes. You don't know where to start. You decide you're going to make some changes, and you're going to get the family involved. Why? Because if you don't get your family involved, it's possible civil war will break out, right? Not everybody in the house may agree that you need to start eating quinoa and coconut oil. And so you need to get your family involved. Don't go cold turkey. You cannot change everything. At least you don't. In my house, I couldn't change everything all at once. So I think educating them too has been key. Like, get them involved. Like, tell them why you're making the changes. Don't go cold turkey. At the dinner table, serve the good food first, not with dessert on the table at the same time. And if they get up and go away from the table, then maybe you get lucky. Understand that exposure equals preference, and that it's been said it can take up to 11 times for your little kiddos to say yes, they will try it. So try again. Get them involved. This has been important for us. We plan our meals for the week now, and my children are often involved in giving the ideas for dinner, including looking them up on Pinterest and in the recipe books that we have. They come shopping with me. And our teenage girls now both, especially more in the summer, they cook dinners for us. So when you get them involved in all of that process, they're more likely to cook what they made. So get them involved and let them help. Have a spirit of adventure. And I mean, don't be afraid to use things like dips and sauces and salsas to dip the vegetables in, peanut butter, almond butter. And then take a few moments to prepare your healthy snacks when you get home from the store. Set yourself up for the week. Portable grab-and-go packages, eye level in the fridge, eye level in the pantry, because we are all busy. And if you have stuff ready, then you will overcome your excuse of having to run through the drive-thru because you don't have anything prepared. Also highly recommend taking a few minutes before you go to the grocery store to plan your dinners for the week. Take the meal plan with you that has all the ingredients for every dinner that you need that week, so that when it comes time for dinner, you have everything that you need. It just helps. Dinner time, know about you, but dinner time, it's cuckoo crazy at our house sometimes. More so after, but it just helps to be prepared. Okay, on to the next topic of priorities and taking control. You guys, this is about more the emotional piece. It's all part of wellness, right? You need to take care of your body. You need to take care of your nutrition. You need to take care of your mind. And for years, and I'm still working on this, it's easy to get stressed out and overwhelmed, especially, honestly, because of these little things right here. So my story about this is, and this probably wasn't even that long ago, was our youngest son wanted to cuddle. And I said, of course, buddy, I'll cuddle. So we went and sat down on the couch and we're cuddling. And then I still had my phone in my hand and I'm scrolling and messaging. And he's literally called me out and said, Mom, can you cuddle without? And so it just was another wake-up call. Like, we need to be present with our family. We need to set priorities and limits. It's about taking control of a few parts of your life. But basically, it's very easy to get caught up in notifications and emails and texts and phone calls, and then work and house and shopping and kids and spouse and school. All of that equals stress. Cortisol, again, that stress hormone coming in, constant notifications, constantly people needing you, constantly needing to respond to people. What I would encourage you to do here, my call to action for this area, is to take out a sheet of paper and write down some of the major areas of your life. Your nutrition, your fitness, your spirituality, your finances, your relationships, your leisure time, your environment in your home, major areas of your life, and rate them on a scale of 0 to 10. 10 is you're super, super happy about them, and 0 is really bad. And be honest with yourself. How do you feel about those areas of your life? And the first time I did this, it was really eye-opening. I was not happy with a lot of areas of my life. Why? Because I was caught up in the rat race of let's get everything done. I can do it all. I don't have to ask for help. I can be everything to everybody all the time, including my children and my husband. And I said yes all the time. You can't do that and be healthy emotionally. Here are the 3 areas that I have learned you need to take control of. You need to take control of your emotions. Here's what I mean by that. You can't control what other people think. You can't control what other people say. You can't control what other people feel. You only can control you and how you respond. And I'm still a work in progress about that. But like my children, I tend to own the mood of the grumpiest member of my house, right? Like you can't control. Only thing you can control in this life is you and how you respond. And that's hard. But if you can do that, it'll free you up emotionally. You'll feel better. You need to control your schedule, and you need to look at those areas of your life where you're ranking them low, and you need to think about why they're low and what you need to do about them. Do you have your children in every sport, 3 sports, 3 seasons, 3 sports in 1 season? You know, are you on the PTA and volunteer of this, that, and the other thing at the church and the school and because you're afraid of what other people will think if you say no? Here's my challenge to you about taking control of your schedule. When you make a decision, you need to consider what you're saying yes to. Does it match what's most important to you right now in your life, right? Well, our oldest daughter is going to high school next year. We're starting to think about what do we need to do to be present for her for the next 4 years till she goes away. It might affect what we say yes and no to over the next 4 years. I like considering it, I heard it called your best yes. So when you say yes to something, is it your best yes? Know that when you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else, right? So saying yes to something at the school, maybe saying no to something for one of your kids, and what's more important? So take control of what you can control in your emotions, in your schedule, and in your health. What I have learned to help me overcome my excuses is that if I don't take care of me, I cannot pour from an empty cup. I will have less to give if I don't take care of myself first. And I think it's very important for my children and my family to see that, you know what, I will be with you in a few minutes, but I'm going to go for a run first. Or I'll be right there with you. I'm going to plan our meals for the week. They need to see that it's okay for you to say no to them for a moment while you say yes to you, so that then you can say yes to them. Take care of those areas of your life. I have a list here. These are some of my favorite tools that have helped me take control, so you can read them here. Don't worry though, I'm going to make the slides to this talk available to anybody that wants them. So I don't want to read them all to you, but know that there are tools to help you take control of your life, also known as personal development. It's a non-negotiable to fixing your mindset. And your personal development needs to match the area of your life where you need to start first. Maybe the area of your life that you rated the lowest would be where you need to start focusing your priorities, okay? A few more to go. Systems and habits. This is my laundry story. Some of you guys have heard this already. I'll just give you the brief story. I didn't have a good laundry system in my life for a long time. I could not keep up with it. There's 6 of us. It was an ongoing process, and it led me to feel stressed and overwhelmed because it was never fully done. I couldn't ask my children to put their clothes away because they weren't put away in my room. When I have clutter and mess, it leads to disorganization and stress. That's not good emotional health. If you're struggling, you need a new system. What happened for me is I invited a friend into my home to help me minimize and organize. And she told me, Jen, you've got to break this down. You got to take simple steps. You got to put it away and you got to do it every day. And my mindset at first was very close. I'm like, no, I do not want to do that. I cannot, I don't even want to. I don't have time. Somebody else has to do it, right? Excuse-itis. So I'm happy to say I have overcome that struggle. And we are all doing way, way better, 90% better, keeping our laundry under control. When you change your mindset and make a decision, you can tackle even the laundry, for Pete's sake. Habit change is hard. It's hard. It's hard. You have to keep it simple. You have to break it down. If you follow me, you know I love this book, and I highly recommend anybody start their process with it. Much of what I'm sharing with you comes from it. Oh boy, that was so weird. Okay. All right. Simple steps do matter. This is my takeaway message for healthy living, period. You are either on the success curve or failure curve in your life. There is no in between. You have complete control over the direction the rest of your life takes. It doesn't matter where you're standing today. If you decide, stop looking in the rearview mirror, you can put yourself on the success curve. But it comes down to your philosophy. It comes down to your mindset, and you need to continually focus on that, you guys. Your philosophy creates your attitude, good or bad, which will lead to your, you guys are in the way of create your actions, which creates results, which creates your life. This is a little disturbing to me. I don't know how you feel about it, but 95% of people will not reach their goals in life. They will get to the end of their life and be dissatisfied with the way they turned out. That's scary. So we're committed to not being that 95%. But to do that, you need to figure out how to do your laundry, how to take the simple steps every day, how to master the dumb, mundane tasks that are so simple to do. So simple to do, even simpler not to do, and that's the problem. Another important message is that you have to often slow down to go fast, and that's a hard one for people to follow. Let that sink in a little bit. And there is no magic bullet, just consistent steps every day, right? So here's the problem. You may not feel the results of a decision to go through the drive-thru and have a cheeseburger today. You won't feel that today, and maybe not tomorrow, what's happening on your insides. But it matters. The decision that you make today, the small ones, to make that food choice, drive through or go home and prepare a salad, it matters. The simple decisions do matter, and that's the moral of the story. The last area I want to talk to you guys about is really failing forward, sort of like overcoming the fear of failing, right? Now, my personal story too about this is from a runner's perspective, but if you're not a runner, please don't tune out. I think you can relate to this if you've ever had something in your life that you've worked really hard for, like you wanted it with every fiber of your being, you can relate. If you've missed it by just a minute. I have been a runner my whole life, and at the age of 26, I trained for and ran my first marathon, and I qualified for the Boston Marathon. That's a big goal for runners. I tried 2 years after that, 2 consecutive years to get to Boston, actually. So I qualified and then I trained to get there, but I got hurt 2 years in a row because I didn't train right. So I never got there. Well, in the Boston Marathon world, after 2 years, your time expires. You got to do it again. For the next 10 years or so, we were having kids. So I wasn't really trying that period of time. And about, so let's say I've tried, in the last few years, I've tried 4 times again to qualify, each time falling short. And this past time was 2 years ago, and I missed qualifying by 1 minute. It's 26.2 miles, and I missed my time by 1 minute. So that hurts. Hopefully you guys can still see me. It said my internet is unstable. Okay. What I wouldn't admit until recently was that I was afraid to try again after missing by that little period of time. It's hard to commit to a marathon. Everything else in your life kind of gets put on hold for me anyways. I was afraid of what other people would think. What if I missed it again? What would other people say? Then I'd have to tell people I missed it again. And I should know how to train for a marathon. And what is my problem? Why can't I figure it out? So what I'm telling you today is on September 10th, I will run my next marathon. I will qualify. I will. If I don't, I'll figure it out and I'll try again. But here's what you need to understand about failing and about fears. All roads to any goal lead through the land of failure. You're going to fail. If you set a healthy living goal, you're going to fail. It's not avoidable. Forgive yourself. Figure it out. Learn something and grow from it. The only difference between success and failure is persisting. Don't let your fear hold you back. This is what I'm going to leave you with. You need to make a decision. Will you continue to struggle where you are today? If you continue to struggle without trying to figure it out and embracing it, in 5 years from now, your struggle will be the same in any area of your life. The only guarantee for failure is to stop trying. Unless you decide to embrace it, I choose to embrace the struggle so that in 5 years, I have new ones, better ones, and not the same. I don't want to be in that 95%. How do you live on purpose? This is my last slide, I promise. You need to find a purpose. You need to surround yourself with people who have a purpose. Get fed up with the status quo. Set some goals. Dream. Did you guys know that by the time you're in first grade, you've heard no? I have in my notes. It's like 40,000 times. By the time you're in first grade, you've heard no, the word no, 40,000 times versus 5,000 yeses. So why? No wonder why people don't even try anymore. They've been told no. Say yes. Set a goal that excites you. Stop looking in the rearview mirror. Find some simple steps. Surround yourself by people who will help you. Put your passion and all of your vital processes into reaching that goal. Visualize what it's going to look like and feel like. Overcome excuse-itis. Give yourself incentives and rewards and cultivate determination. And that, when you believe you can, you're halfway there. That's what I have for you guys. Thank you. I'm going to open it up in a minute. You can find us on the internet, teamnieset.com. We have a Facebook page called Team Nieset, or there's the link. I'm also on Instagram, so is my hubby. Most of the videos that I ever record on like Facebook Live, or I've done other ones, you can find them on YouTube. If you want to talk more about this one-on-one, you can email me. If you want a copy of the slides I shared, you can email me and I'd be happy to give those to you. I'm going to unshare. I'm going to pause the share. I think. How do I unshare?
I think you can hear me, right?
I hear you. I just want to get back to the whole, stop share. Stop share. Do we have questions? I don't see any questions in the comment section. I'm going to unmute you guys.
Well, the first thing I want to do is I just want to thank you, Jen, for taking the time to come on and to share your story. I think it was a great story, a lot of good information. It's all the same kind of stuff that seems like that I tend to be spouting off through my mouth all the time. So my head was going like this. Yep. My wife was looking at me, looking and going, yeah. So it's kind of funny that, how it all came out. But I want to thank you for coming on today, and maybe we can get this going with Craig and do this, another time with him as well.
Oh, for sure. I know he would enjoy that. Thank you. I mean, like-minded people, right? It's nice to surround yourself by like-minded people, and it helps, So I'm going to, and thank you for having me. It really was a pleasure. I'm going to see if I can open everybody up and maybe unmute people. If you guys have questions, I'd be happy to stay on for a few minutes. I don't know if that's everybody. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we saw 9 people. Any questions? Okay. Well, thank you to those of you who stayed on all the way to the very end. And yeah, I think stay tuned for more from Team Nieset, and for sure, anytime we'd be happy to join forces, and look forward to sharing more.
I'm sure this will just be the first of many.
Good. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good night.
Good job. It was very good.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you.